FIFA isn't hiding it anymore. They're inventing new rules to make sure Messi, Miami get to the Club World Cup. The president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, announced that Miami have qualified for the newly revamped tournament. How, you might ask? By being the first side ever to do so as MLS Shield winners. Now, some of you might be wondering, wait, didn't the other 30 teams qualify through their performance in intercontinental tournaments? Why is Messi, Miami the exception for winning an equivalent of their domestic league nonetheless, for a tournament being held in the US, with the opening match in Miami as well, surprise surprise. If it all seems too convenient, well, that's because it is. FIFA invented a new rule to get Messi in. When you're in desperate need of a big broadcast deal and sponsors, the time for subtlety has passed. FIFA has so far failed to secure any sponsorship or TV deals for an event that's less than 8 months away. They desperately need to get the biggest name in the US somehow to attract money. From the side of FIFA, it does make sense to have arguably the best player of the generation by chucking his team for whatever reason into the tournament. But is the reasoning fair to any of the qualifying teams at all, especially those in the MLS? Consider Infantino's testimony after Miami won the Supporters' Shield. You have shown that in the United States you are consistently the best club on the field of play. Therefore, I am proud to announce that, as one of the best clubs in the world, you are deserved participants in the new FIFA Club World Cup. The best team? Okay, I have a lot of questions, and we'll get to that. But first, let me explain how the qualification for the new Club World Cup works and why Messi's Miami's entry isn't actually fair at all. Qualification for the new tournament is given through a team's performance in continental competitions. In basic terms, the rules for any club to qualify is either to win a continental tournament or have a good, consistent record in them. 6 continents have 32 qualifying teams based on their performance in that metric. Africa, Asia, the North and Central America each get 4 teams to their respective tournaments. South America has 6, while the OFC gets 1 spot. Europe has 12 via the UEFA Champions League, which brings the total to 31. The last qualifying spot is guaranteed for the host country of the World Cup, which is the United States. But according to the rules established by FIFA, the team getting the host country spot should still have the best, if not better, track record than the US-based teams. But FIFA gave the spot to Miami by inventing a new rule for the domestic league winners. The other 31 got in via continent-wide competitions or ranking among teams from said continent. Why are Miami the exception then? Well, they're actually not. Messi is the exception. They somehow need to get the biggest name of football to have any chance of securing money. So it came at the cost of other MLS clubs who were actually performing well in the CONCACAF Champions League, the North and Central America's equivalent to UEFA's Champions League. Columbus Crew had reached the final in June, as did Los Angeles FC last year. Now, the US already had a team in the World Cup through this route, as Seattle Sounders qualified via their win in 2022. But that was considered a CONCACAF spot instead of one from the host nation. So that meant the host nation's spot was still open. Now, if the rules dictate that the qualifying team should have a good record in continental tournaments, then the host nation spot should also be given to the team with a better record. Hence, either Los Angeles FC or Columbus Crew should have been given that spot. But that won't be the case, as FIFA wanted a different team in, so they invented a rule to make sure one club from 2024 did, specifically Messi's team, by awarding them qualification for winning the MLS Supporters' Shield. This is where Infantino's testimony starts to bewilder me, as he described Miami's qualification based on merit as one of the best clubs in the US. Let's analyze that statement. Their track record is not only way off from the type of clubs the new tournament is aiming to attract, because they're not even the best team in the nation. You see, Miami had never qualified for the CONCACAF Champions League in their existence and had finished 19th, 20th, 12th, and 27th in the league for the past 4 seasons aggregate. It was only after 2023 they won their first trophy and the Supporters' Shield. How can a team that's only made it once to the playoffs and never once to the intercontinental tournaments be allowed to qualify for arguably the world's biggest club competition? Now, with all due respect to Inter Miami, and they did break the record for the most points in the MLS regular season, they have one of the poorest defensive records in the league, a dodgy 50% win rate against Western Conference teams, and are heavily reliant on the four old guards of Barcelona. It's not really that they are the best team in the US, it's just that they happen to have a few core players who've been carrying the squad. And second, one of the best clubs in the world? Gianni, really? They might have some elderly legends playing there, but can you guarantee they'd even beat, say, Crystal Palace in a one-off game tomorrow? Not really. We've seen how they fared against Ronaldo's Al Nassr in the summer, and even they aren't the number one team in Saudi. In spite of the sugarcoating to justify Miami's qualification, they aren't close by a million miles to being considered one of the best clubs in the world. What makes this an undeniable bending of the rules is, FIFA only announced that the Supporters' Shield winners would qualify after Miami won it. Wouldn't it have been sensible to announce it at the start of the season, or give it to the 2024 MLS Cup winners in December, the biggest tournament in the US, which Miami might probably go on to win? Heck, even make it a one-off match between the league and MLS Cup winners to guarantee Messi, Miami another chance. But this? Invoking a wild card to bring Messi to the World Cup? Yeah, right. I get that this is rather common in other sports like tennis, where top players are given a spot in major events when they fail to qualify directly, either through underperformance, injuries, or whatever reason. Gordon Ivanovic once won Wimbledon as a wild card, and numerous others like Andy Murray and more had qualified through the same route. It guarantees high sponsor and viewership to have your best athletes in. Invoking a similar wildcard for Messi would also do numbers for FIFA. But it's against the very basic nature of fairness of football, especially when it's not even the best team in your nation. You shouldn't by any means qualify anyone just to guarantee yourself revenues through one man. Even more so when you've preemptively dubbed this the greatest, most inclusive, and merit-based global club competition to have existed. The Club World Cup was already struggling for respectability. The FIFA Pro Players Union are planning a legal action against FIFA, and now it takes another reputational hit. But what do you guys think? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. And also about the short-term future of the channel. I am currently working on 2 projects, so it will take some time to roll out. So if you're interested, consider subscribing, and it really helps the channel out. But to give you a glimpse of the next video, we'll be paying a visit to a certain sheikh in Dubai. I got a feeling you'll want to hear this one out.